Good day everyone, I am Kezia and I will be your teacher for today. Before I will going to introduce you with our topic, let's have our learning objective first. Okay, after this lesson, learners should be able to first define metacognition, including its components, metacognitive regulation and control, and metacognitive teaching strategies. Second, reflect on their own experience of metacognition by answering guided self-reflection questions about their own thinking and learning strategies. And lastly, compose a written reflection paper that demonstrates their understanding of metacognition, of how they apply it in their own learning. So our topic for today is metacognition. So but before that, let me ask you some questions first. Number one, before learning something, have you asked yourself, what do I already know about this topic? Number two, while learning something, have you asked yourself, am I understanding what I'm reading or learning? And number three, after learning something, have you asked yourself, how can I apply what I have learned in the future? If your answer are all yes, then you are already using your metacognition. Okay, so what is metacognition? Metacognition, it is the ability to think about one's own thinking process. It involves being aware of one's cognitive abilities, understanding how one learns, and using this knowledge to regulate and improve learning. So in short, metacognition is thinking about your thinking. So dali, kahibaw ka kung unsay mong ginamina, kahibaw ka if in what ways you can learn, you know yourself here. Si metacognition kay kahibaw ka kung you are applying the correct strategies in learning, if kahibaw ka if nagka-learn gyud ka sa imong gikaton. So there are two components of metacognition. The first one is metacognitive knowledge, and the second one is metacognitive regulation. So when we say metacognitive knowledge, it is what individuals know about their cognition or cognition in general. So when we say knowledge, it is about what you know about your metacognition. So in my case, for example, I know that mas maka-learn ko if I studied at night, mas maka-learn ko if ang mga long paragraphs or descriptions or notes, I turned it into bullet forms, and then my descriptions are all key points or keywords. Kaya at least if ever, dali rin ako matimanan kay short na siya. And then after I write it, I read it a lot kadaghan para mas masabtan ako siya, and then I act like I'm discussing it to someone. Because the more ako isulti, the more din ako matumanan ako study. So one example, that I know my own thinking, I know my metacognition. And then when we say metacognitive regulation, it is the ability to keep track of and assess the knowledge we're learning. So it's about how we learn. So si metacognitive regulation kay more siya sa process, more siya sa movement sa imong learning. So it really involves about planning, mag-monitor ka sa imong learning, mag-evaluate ka sa imong learnings. So there are three metacognitive awareness under metacognitive knowledge. Okay, so the first one is declarative, second is procedural, and then third is conditional. So when we say declarative, it's also known as a personal knowledge, also known as a learner's understanding of own abilities. So parihar yun siya sa definition sa metacognition. It's about thinking your own thinking. So for example, in my case, kabaw ko na I learn better if ako isuwat, akong basahon, niya ako pa pinareport ng style. So it's about knowing my way of learning strategies in which I learn best. And then procedural, also known as task knowledge, it's about how to do things and how skills or competences are executed. So si procedural is more on how to do, so unsaon. So unsaon yung pagkatun. So like, imo ba rin isuwat, imo ba rin siyang basahon, unsaon ba nimo para makasabot ka. So it is more about the procedure, the process sa imong pag-learn or unsaon nimo para makatun ka. Conditional. So it's ability to know when and why various cognitive acts should be applied. It involves using strategies to learn information as well as adapting them to novel contexts. So diri, you ask nganong kailangan and kung dapat gamiton ng kaninga strategy. So makakasyon ka if gamiton ko ng strategy, effective ba niya siya, if kanibang strategy effective ba niya siya sa pag-learn ako ano na lesson or pagbuhat ako ano na project or nana. So there are three processes of metacognitive regulation. So when we say process, it cannot be interchanged. It should start with planning, monitoring, and evaluating. So when we say planning, it's selection of appropriate strategies and the allocation of resources that affect performance. So planning, it's before learning. So imong plano. So for example, may kaning subject ako ning studyhan for 1 hour lang, or ako lang isuwat, ako lang basahon, or unsaon ko pag-learn. It's about planning. It's about before nimo katun ang kaninga butang. Then second, we have monitoring. It's the one's ongoing awareness of comprehension and task performance. So to monitor, no, it's about asking yourself, kasabot ba ko sa akong gibasa? Nakatun ba ko sa akong gibuhat? It's about monitoring your progress. Then we have evaluating. It refers to appraising the products and efficiency of one's learning. It tells whether the process resulted to correct or different answers. So while nag-monitor ka, makaanangay ka nga, wala ko nakakatuon. It's time to change that strategy into something better. So muna siya, i-evaluate mo. So evaluate mo, change mo ang strategy, kaya siya effective, make it into effective one. So next topic is about metacognitive teaching strategies. So this topic is more on teacher-centered, because these are the strategies teacher should integrate with the students in order to develop their metacognition. So let's start with graphic organizer. So graphic organizer, it is a structured chart that guides students through the learning process. So best example for this is the KWH-LAQ chart. So for example, your lesson is about water cycle. You let your student answer first before the discussion. The KWH questions in that chart is about what do I know, what do I want to know, how do I find out. So to test their existing knowledge, no, it serves as the pre-test. And then after you discuss, no, let them answer the LAQ, which is about what have I learned, what action will I take, what new questions do I have, to assess if the student learned something in our discussion. When we say think aloud, it's about saying what you think. And the best example for this is reporting. Impromptu reporting. So if tagani mong student o reporting and prepare it for 5 minutes lang, kanang bata maningkamot siya. If maningkamot siya o share sa iyang huna-huna. No, it's not scripted. It's just plainly thinking and saying what he or she is thinking about. And then we have journalizing. So journalizing can be used together with think aloud. So in here, learners write what was in that mind when they selected an answer and the reasons of their choice. So when think aloud is about saying what you think, so journalizing it's about writing what you think. So nadari they can use together with think aloud. So pwede ma-partner si think aloud at si journalizing para mas makatun sa bata. No, iya pa istorya, iya ang idea, or yung ginahon na iya pa yung isuwat. So, the more ma-retain sa iyang muna ang iyahang mga nakatunan. So, error analysis. So, it is a systematic approach for using feedback metacognitively to improve one's future performance. So, error analysis, it's like being corrected on your mistake. No, and being corrected in your mistake doesn't make you less as a person. It is about improving yourself and making your strategies or your ways better in order for you, to learn that to make that weakness into a strength. So best example for error analysis is demo teaching, because when you are doing your demo, you have this instructor, he or she needs to correct, or he needs to give feedback on the things na need mo improve sa imong pag-teach. And that is a very, very helpful in order for you to do better next time. And then we have wrapper, activity that fosters learners' metacognition before, during, and after. So it's like sa before, during, and after nagamit nimo yung metacognition. The best example for this is storytelling. So unang sa storytelling, nahuni mo imasang pakitaon si bata o picture sa imong story. So for example, the 3 little pigs. So, mas na pangutan na nag-do, kibaw ba sila ang story, kibaw ba sila sa mga characters, so during, you tell them the story very well, na imo yung with feelings, with eye contact, let them feel that they are really, really kanang listening to a storyteller sa mga cartoons or mga movies, to caught their attention. Then, after, You ask them who are the characters of the story, what happens to the characters, what are the houses they built, what are the materials they use to build the house, and so during the process of storytelling, nanigan na nila ang metacognition. Then, lastly, we have peer monitoring. It's a proven metacognitive strategy as many learners learn best when studying with peers who are informed and skilled than them. So peer monitoring for me personally is very effective because instead of sharing your thoughts or sharing your learnings to your friends, they can also share their learnings or their mga things na makakaibang na makalearn ka from them. And also in my case, we really do that question and answer portion every time we have examination. And then after the question and answer portion, magdungan mo suwat sa among mga learnings. Example lang ka na enumeration, mag-ibaan na yung meaning na kasi makauna na mo. Okay, and through that, mas motivated ka because you have your friends. Ibaw ka nga in learning, you have the kuyog kanila sa pag-learning na mas motivated ka. Muna nga very useful ko si peer monitoring. So if you have any clarifications or questions, so if none, that's all for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you learned something.